Hello viewers, how are you? Welcome to my channel Physics with Rams. So today we are going to start our new chapter, oscillations. And these oscillations we are going to discuss about a simple harmonic motion. Before going to start this topic, please watch my previous videos so that we will be familiar with the concepts. As we had covered motion in a straight line, motion in a plane, as well as we had discussed about a relative velocity, as well as a relative motion, as well as we had discussed about work, power, energy, and system of particles and rotational motion, and Newton's laws of motion. So those who didn't watch my previous videos, please subscribe my channel and watch these videos so that you will be familiar with the concepts and you can understand the concept in an easy way, so that you can utilize these concepts in order to solve the numericals. Let's start this topic, simple harmonic motion. It is represented as SHM. Simple harmonic motion is nothing but if a motion continuously repeats at a regular intervals of time, then we can represent it as a simple harmonic motion. The first one is a periodic motion and the second one is oscillatory motion. Means if we consider that if a body covers the motion, or if a body covers the path at regular intervals of time, if a body covers the path at a regular intervals of time, then we can represent it as a periodic motion. Just like the earth is revolving around the sun. As you observe this here, as the earth revolves around the sun, it covers one revolution around the sun in 1 year. Means it is every year it covers one revolution. Based on that, we can represent that the revolution of the earth is represented as a periodic motion. And here observe the definition of periodic motion: the motion which repeats at regular intervals of time. Here the motion, it continuously repeats at regular intervals of time. Observe that if a body starts at this position and after a time of 1 hour, again if it reaches this position, again after 1 hour, again if it reaches to this position, after 1 hour again it reaches to this position, then we can represent that it is a periodic motion. It is a periodic motion. And here come to the case of this oscillatory motion. Here this oscillatory motion is represented as a to and fro motion. If you consider a simple pendulum or a pendulum in the clock, it continuously oscillates like this. It continuously oscillates like this. These oscillations, observe that here it is moving from one position to another position and is returning back to its original position, where we consider the central position as a main position and the end positions are represented as extreme positions. So here based on that we can represent that the to and fro motion, of a body represents a oscillatory motion. Here observe that the body is moving in a to and fro motion like this, just like this marker is oscillating like this. So it represents oscillatory motion. So here based on this periodic motion and oscillatory motion, we are going to start this chapter. Observe that can we consider that every oscillatory motion is a periodic motion, as well as we can we consider that every periodic motion is oscillatory motion? Means here come to the case of this statement, every oscillatory motion can be considered as a periodic motion. Every oscillatory motion can be considered as a periodic motion, but every periodic motion cannot be considered as oscillatory motion. Why? Because here the body is covering at regular intervals of time. The path is being covered at regular intervals of time. So based on that, here we cannot consider every periodic motion as oscillatory motion, but every oscillatory motion can be considered as a periodic motion. So here let's see some examples regarding this oscillatory motion. Here if you consider a ball, let us consider a ball. So if you drop the ball, it continuously bounces. It moves in upward direction and again falls down, again it moves in upward direction, again it falls down. It continuously jumps from up to low. Then it is being represented like this. So that here the ball is bouncing in the upward direction, again it is returning back, again it is bouncing in the upward direction and it again returning back, again it is bouncing in the upward direction and again returning back like this. The ball bounces. Yeah, in this way we can represent this as SHM, simple harmonic motion. Whereas if we consider an ant, if we consider that the ant is crawling in the upward direction, ant is crawling in the upward direction, and again it is falling down, then this line represents the falling of the ant. So as it climbs up, again it falls down. So after that what happens is it does not live, again it tries to climb up, again after climbing up some distance it falls down back, again after climbing up some distance it falls down back. Like this way, in this way we can represent this SHM. In the same way, if we consider a boy, if the boy climbs up 2 steps and returns back, just like that, he climbs up the 2 steps and again he returns back, again he climbs 2 steps and again returns back, then that motion is represented as a periodic motion. Observe that here initially he is climbing like this, again after that he comes down the 2 steps, again after some time again he climbs up the 2 steps, again he returns back, again after some time again he climbs up the 2 steps and again he returns back. In this way we can represent SHM. SHM, simple harmonic motion. Take a screenshot, we will continue. Now we are going to discuss about a simple harmonic motion. Before going to start this, just revise once again about oscillatory motion. So here we had represented that oscillatory motion is nothing but to and fro motion. Just like a string in the case of a guitar, when we drag the string in the case of guitar, it starts vibrating at that position itself. Then we can represent it as a oscillatory motion, as well as a swing. If a swing moves like this, then we can represent it as oscillatory motion. A person sits on the swing and if it oscillates, if it moves to and fro, then we can represent it as oscillatory motion. In this way we can give the examples for oscillatory motion. Come to the case of this. Here the force acting in the case of this oscillatory motion is represented as F, whereas the force acting in the case of this oscillatory motion is directly proportional to displacement. The force acting in the case of oscillatory motion is directly proportional to displacement, but opposite in direction. So here we can represent the equation as F is equals to K into, where K is a constant, minus K into x to the power of n, where n equals to 1, 2, 3 and so on. So if you substitute n equals to 1, then here we can represent it as F equals to minus kx. Whereas if we substitute n equals to 2, then here we have F equals to minus kx square. And if we consider n equals to 3, then here we have F equals to minus kx cube and so on. In this way we can represent the force acting in the case of oscillatory motion. So here as you observe that when the body is oscillating in the to and fro motion, here what happens is if the displacement x is positive, the displacement is positive from mean position. So based on that, here we can represent that as from the mean position, if the displacement is positive, then the force acting in the case of this to and fro motion will be negative. It will be negative. Whereas when the displacement is negative, and the displacement is negative, then the force acting in the case of oscillatory motion will be positive. So observe that this if I substitute here minus x, minus into minus, it will be plus. So here the restoring force acting in the case of oscillatory motion will be positive, means it regains its original position due to this restoring force. Based on that, here we can represent this oscillatory motion. So if we observe the definition of SHM, simple harmonic motion, observe that a body is said to be in simple harmonic motion if it moves to and fro along a straight line about its mean position, so that at any point acceleration is directly proportional to displacement in magnitude but opposite in direction and is directed towards the mean position. So here in the case of oscillatory motion, we had represented that the force is directly proportional to x to the power of n, whereas in the case of simple harmonic motion, here we can represent that the body is moving in a straight line, then to and fro motion is along a straight line, means here we consider the oscillation very less, means a small negligible oscillation. then automatically we can represent that the to and fro motion is a straight line. To and fro motion is a straight line in this case. So here if we consider the to and fro motion as a straight line, then we can represent it as Hm. So when we consider very negligible oscillations, minute oscillations, just like the simple pendulum, as we consider the minute oscillations in the case of simple pendulum, here we can represent them as a simple harmonic motion. Come to the case here. According to this definition, if we consider the force acting in this case is represented with the minimum value, because the to and fro motion is along the straight line. So here the minimum value is considering n is equals to 1. The minimum value is considered by considering n equals to 1. As we substitute here, we have f equals to minus k into x to the power of 1. Nothing but f equals to minus kx. F equals to minus kx. Whereas we know that F equals to ma according to Newton's second law. As we substitute this value here, we have ma is equal to minus k into x. A is equal to minus k by m into x. So based on that, here we can represent that acceleration is directly proportional to displacement in magnitude, but opposite in direction. Opposite in direction. So here if we consider a simple pendulum, and here we represent it as a mean portion. At the mean portion, the displacement is represented as 0. So the body moves towards this side. As the pendulum moves towards this side, here the displacement is a positive. Displacement is a constant. Automatically force acting on the case of this simple pendulum will be negative, and this force is represented as a restoring force, whereas the displacement will be in this direction and restoring force will be acting in this direction. And again as the pendulum moves towards this side, so here what happens is the displacement will be negative. Then automatically the restoring force acting on the body will be positive. Why? Because the displacement is along this direction, whereas the restoring force is acting along this direction. In the same way, we can also represent the acceleration as the displacement is a positive from the mean portion. As we consider the displacement from the mean portion, the acceleration will be negative when the displacement is positive. Whereas when the displacement is negative, here the acceleration acting on the body will be positive. So this represents H. Here we can represent a simple harmonic motion in two types. One is a longitudinal simple harmonic motion as well as angular simple harmonic motion. Whereas a longitudinal simple harmonic motion is represented by the oscillation of a spring. Oscillations of a spring. Why? Because the body is oscillating to and fro based on the weight. So in this way, either along the horizontal or along the vertical, if the body is oscillating, then we can represent it as a longitudinal simple harmonic motion. Whereas angular simple harmonic motion is represented by oscillation of a body along the mean position like this. So if a body oscillates to and fro based on greater angles, so then we can represent it as an angular simple harmonic. As you observe the balance wheel in a watch, it continuously oscillates like this. Balance wheel in a watch represents angular simple harmonic motion. So now we had represented about the simple harmonic equation in that definition for simple harmonic motion. Take a screenshot, we will continue. Now we are going to represent the expression for displacement in the case of high section. So for that, here we consider uniform circular motion, and here observe that the perpendicular diameters are represented as x, o, x dash and y, o, y dash, and here we consider a particle p which is moving along this circumference like this. So as the particle moves here, what happens is motion continues along the xo x dash as well as yo y dash. When the particle is at this position, here we can draw two perpendiculars from this point P, reference particle. Whereas the radius of this circle is represented as A, and the particle is oscillating along this circumference with angular velocity omega. So here the angular velocity is represented as omega, and the initial phase is represented as pi. Initial phase is represented as pi. So here observe that when we draw perpendiculars, the coinciding points are represented as M and N. Observe that the perpendicular had coincided on x o x dash, and the perpendicular from P onto y dash is represented as N. Now observe that here this at origin the triangle makes an angle of theta. As we have angle of theta at this position, here we have angle of theta, where this angle is represented based on the initial phase. And here we know that angular velocity omega is given as angular displacement by time. Then angular displacement can be given as angular velocity into time t. Theta equals to omega t. But here we have to represent initial phase, whereas the initial phase is represented by pi. So here we can represent that theta is equals to omega t plus pi. Omega t plus pi. So here, as you consider this right angle triangle OMP, as we consider right angle triangle OMP, cos theta. So here we represent a cos theta. Cos theta is equal to adjacent side nothing but OM by OP. OM by OP. Already we had represented that the radius is nothing but A. So here we consider OP is equals to A amplitude. Then here we have cos theta is equals to OM by A. Then here we have OM is equals to A cos theta, where OM is nothing but displacement along the diameter xo x dash, nothing but it is represented as x. OM is equals to x. So as we substitute here, we have x is equals to A cos theta, where theta equals to omega t plus pi. As we substitute here, we have x equals to A cos omega t plus pi. So this represents the expression for displacement along the xo x dash. Similarly, we can represent the displacement equation along the diameter yo y dash, and it is represented from the triangle ONP. ONP. Observe that here n is represented by displacement y, vertical displacement y. So from that here observe that sin theta is equals to ON by OP, where ON is equals to y and OP equals to A. So if we substitute these values, here we have sin theta is equals to y by A. Then here we have y is equals to A sin theta, where theta equals to omega t plus pi. So here we have y is equals to A sin omega t plus pi. So this represents the expression for displacement along the diameter yo y dash. Why? Because the particle is executing SHM based on this uniform circle. So here these are the expressions for displacement based on the diameter xo x dash as well as yo y dash. Take a screenshot. We will continue. Now we have to represent the expressions for velocity as well as acceleration, where we know that the displacement is given as x equals to A cos omega t plus pi. So based on this expression here, now we have to represent the expression for velocity, whereas velocity is given as v equals to rate of change of displacement. So here as we substitute the value of x, here we have d by dt of A cos omega t plus pi. Then we get A into, observe that we have to differentiate omega t also. On differentiating this omega t, we get omega, A into omega. and differentiation of cos is minus sine of omega t plus pi, sine of omega t plus pi. So based on that, here we can represent v is equals to minus a omega sine of omega t plus pi. So here we know that sine square theta plus cos square theta is equals to, then here we have sine square theta is equals to 1 minus cos square theta, and sine theta is equals to under root of 1 minus cos square theta, where here we can consider it as a cos theta. As we consider this cos theta, here we get a cos theta is equals to x by a. Cos theta equals to x by a. So if we substitute this value in this equation, here we have sin theta is equals to under root of 1 minus x by a whole square. X by a whole square. And simplifying this equation, here we get a square minus x square by a square under root. So under root of a square is a. So we have 1 by a into under root of a square minus x square. So if we substitute the value, this value in the case of sine of omega t plus pi, here we get the velocity as minus a omega into 1 by a into under root of a square minus x square. A and a gets cancelled. We have v is equals minus of omega into under root of a square minus x square. A square minus x square. Here we had represented the velocity expression in terms of amplitude. When we consider mean portion, so here we have displacement as 0. So we have velocity as v is equals to minus omega into under root of a square minus 0. So we get v equals to minus omega a. If we take mod, we get v is equals to omega a. This represents maximum velocity. So based on that, here we can represent that at mean portion velocity will be maximum. Velocity is maximum. So here when we consider the extreme portion, so here then x is represented as a, amplitude a. So as we consider, we have minus of omega into under root of a square minus a square. A square minus omega a square is 0. So here we get 0. Velocity at extreme position is 0. Velocity at extreme position is 0. Now we have to represent the expression for acceleration, where acceleration is given as a rate of change of velocity dv by dt. On differentiating velocity, we can represent the expression as observe the expression of velocity. We have minus a omega into sine of omega t plus pi. Differentiation of sine is cos. So here we get minus a omega square into cos omega t plus pi, where we know that x equals to a cos omega t plus pi. So if we substitute the value, here we have x a equals to minus omega square into x. Based on that, we can represent that a is directly proportional to displacement but opposite in direction. Where we know that cos theta is equals to x by a. Then a is equals to minus a omega square into x by a. So here a gets cancelled and we have a equals to minus omega square into x. At mean portion, as we substitute x equals to 0, we have acceleration a is equals to 0. Based on that, we can represent that at mean position acceleration is 0. Mean position acceleration is 0. As we consider extreme position, a is equals to minus omega square into x, where x is equals to a at extreme position. Then here we have a is equals to minus omega square into a. Based on that, we can represent that the acceleration is a maximum. Mod of a max is equals to mod of minus omega square a is equals to omega square a. So at extreme position, acceleration will be maximum at this extreme position as well as at this extreme position, whereas velocity is maximum at a mean position, whereas velocity is 0 at this extreme position as well as at this extreme position. Take a screenshot, we will continue. Now we are going to discuss about the ratio of maximum velocity to maximum acceleration. So here, as we consider this maximum velocity and maximum acceleration, we know that maximum velocity is represented as a omega and maximum acceleration is a omega square. So here observe that a and a gets cancelled and omega gets cancelled. So we have 1 by omega. We get a 1 by omega. But we know that t is equals to 2 pi by omega. From this expression we have omega equals to 2 pi by t. So from this we can represent 1 by omega equals to t by 2 pi. So in the place of 1 by omega we can substitute t by 2 pi. Then the ratio of maximum velocity to maximum acceleration is given as t by 2 pi. T by 2 pi, where t is the time period. And next the ratio of maximum velocity square to maximum acceleration is given as a square omega square by a omega square. So here 1 omega square gets cancelled and here 1 a gets cancelled. So we get am. The ratio of maximum velocity square to maximum acceleration is equals to amplitude. Take a screenshot, we will continue. So now we are going to represent the graphs for force as well as displacement, acceleration as well as displacement, and velocity as well as displacement, and acceleration and velocity graphs. So first let us see the force and the displacement graph, and we know that F is equals to minus kx. Based on that we can represent that the force is directly proportional to minus x. As the force increases, displacement increases in opposite direction. So if you draw the graph between force as well as displacement, both are increasing, whereas when the displacement is on the positive side, force is acting in the negative side. Why? Because the force will be negative. So this represents the graph for force and displacement. Whereas when we consider acceleration as well as the displacement, here we know that a is equals to minus omega square x. Based on that, here we can represent that acceleration is directly proportional to displacement in opposite direction. Similarly, if you draw the graph between acceleration as well as the displacement, then the graph will be like this. It passes through the origin. Both are in opposite directions based on this. So here now we have to represent the graph based on velocity as well as displacement, and we know that v is equals to omega into under root of a square minus x square. V equals to omega into under root of a square minus x square. As we square this equation, here we have v square equals to omega square into a square minus x square. So as we bring this omega square towards this side, here we have v square by omega square equals to a square minus x square. So send this x square towards this side. So we have v square by omega square plus x square is equals to a square. Now we have to divide this equation on both sides with a square. As we divide, here we have v square by omega square into a square plus x square by a square is equals to 1. Observe this expression, it is in the form of ellipse. So the graph between velocity as well as displacement will be in the form of ellipse. Take a screenshot. We will discuss about acceleration as well as velocity graph. where we have to represent the graph between acceleration as well as the velocity. For that, here we consider a is equals to minus omega square x. So as we take the model here, we have a is equals to omega square x. From this, here we have x is equals to a by omega square. X equals to a by omega square. Whereas as we observe the velocity equation, here we have v square by omega square plus x square is equals to a square. So as we consider this expression, we have to substitute the value of x in this equation. So as we substitute here, we have v square by omega square plus in the place of x we have to substitute a by omega square whole square is equals to a square. Then we have v square by omega square plus a square by omega to the power of 4 is equals to a square. So now we have to divide with a square on both sides. As we divide here, we have v square by a square omega square plus a square into omega to the power of 4 into a square is equals to 1. So the graph between acceleration and velocity will be in the form of ellipse. It is in the form of a ellipse based on this expression. Take a screenshot. I hope that you had enjoyed my video. Please give a like to this video, share this video to your friends, and don't forget to subscribe my channel.